Today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report, we'll preview the Tigers' games against the Loyola Greyhounds and Coastal Carolina. Get ready, fans. The Tiger Lacrosse Report starts now. Hello again, fans, and welcome back to the Tiger Lacrosse Report. I'm your host, Ben Rosenbaum. Towson will play two this week, first on the road against Loyola, and then back at home in Johnny Unitas Stadium against Coastal Carolina. As always, I'm joined by head coach Sonia LaMonica. And Coach, busy week again. Loyola up first, and this is a team, they're 1-2. They very easily could be 2-1 or even undefeated. They had a 3-goal loss to Hopkins and then an overtime loss to Florida. They're not a 1-2 team. They've had very close losses, and as well, the team they beat was Penn State.
They're going to be a tough competitor.
Yeah.
It's our first road game of the season, and yeah, you know, it's going to be a really good test for us. I think, yeah, Loyola's they're a great team, and they're well balanced. You know, they play great together as a team, and I think we do as well. So I think it's going to be an exciting game, a great matchup, and may the best team win.
And you mentioned it's your first road game, but in a sense, it's a 10-minute, 15-minute drive down the road.
Yep.
Is it nice to have your first road game be a short trip so they get used to not playing in their own stadium, the team, and they get used to the bus, and especially for the freshmen, just get back into the swings of traveling?
Yeah, could be. You know, it's hard to know for sure. You know, you just never know how things can play out. I think in any given season, you've got to be ready for anything. You know, we've had a couple of interesting situations already this season. But, you know, you just got to kind of roll with the punches. You got to take everything as it comes and just be ready and prepared. So I think, I know our girls are excited for this matchup. They've been working hard in practice this week, and we've got one more day of prep before we'll head over. And you're right, it's around the corner, but nonetheless, it's a little different to the routine that we've had the last few games.
How important is it, you play Hopkins later this year, for you to beat the Baltimore schools as kind of like a bragging rights thing, almost like a mini tournament, like who's the best team in Baltimore? Because there's a lot of really good teams in this area. Yeah,
I think it's something that gets talked about every year. And, you know, it's because we have great lacrosse here, and I think everybody's really proud of, you know, the level of lacrosse, you know, the recruits that come out of, you know, the state, and, you know, it's just, it's a highly competitive region, and that's we're lucky. You know, we're lucky to be able to have that type of competition, so local. So yeah, it's great to be able to have teams like Loyola and Hopkins as regular opponents on our schedule, and you know, they're always tough matchups. You know, and they're both you know, great programs that are highly competitive, and you know, that's good for us. We want to continue to play teams like that.
Looking at Loyola, freshman Lizzie Rosenzweig and Taylor Vanthorpe, they're dominating draw controls, 18-15 respectively. Last game, you beat Michigan, but you're down in the draw controls number. What's going to be important heading into a game against Loyola, which their offense, if you give them extra possessions, they're potentially going to capitalize on this?
The draw is always interesting, you know, because it's hard to really know. It's hard to really know how the matchups, how the different styles come together, and certainly Nats faced off with Vanthorpe last season. But, you know, a lot can change and happen in a year. You know, I'm sure both of them have continued to get better and better. So, and depending on, you know, different personnel that might be in the mix. So, draws, you know, an interesting area. And again, I just think it comes down to sometimes different matchups, different success rates, different styles, counter. So it'll be a great test for us on the draws, and outside of that piece, I mean, really it just comes down to being a tough competitor. You know, being a tough competitor and being smart and anticipating well around the draw circle, working together in that draw team. So I'm confident in our group. They're gonna battle hard and work to gain us as many possessions as possible from the draw. But yeah, it'll be a good test.
Loyola, they're scoring in the high teens. A lot of them, they've been in double digits every single time. And then you're going to go ahead and take on a Coastal Carolina team where they're very methodical. They're also 1-2. They've yet to crack double digits this season, goal-wise. How does it change anything for you when you go from playing a high-powered offense to a team that's a little bit slower with the ball?
Not necessarily, because I think, again, we're trying to continue to get better ourselves. We want to continue to have high output offensively. We want to continue to limit defensively. And, yeah, there might be some small tendencies and adjustments from game to game, but, we stay the course. And I think we've had some great success so far. We want to keep building on that. So we're just going one game at a time. Not really interested in looking too far ahead to Coastal Carolina. Sure. This is going to be a really tough test for us this week, tomorrow. But yeah, we just got to go one game at a time. But we've got to keep getting better.
We've talked before, obviously, about the big names on your offense: Montalbano, Gillingham, Samalte, Telecamp. There's a new member of that offense now in Caitlyn Thornton, who is taking over for Sam Brookhart.
Yep.
How assess her performance so far? And I remember talking to you, that was going to be a big shoes to fill in, Sam.
Yep.
How has Caitlyn done as a freshman coming into that role? And she's played pretty well.
I think she's done a fantastic job. She's really starting to find her voice, which is sometimes a tough thing, as a freshman. But you're hearing her more, just in general. Her interactions at practice and with her teammates. She's starting to really come out of her shell. I think that translates on the field as well. She continues to gain more and more confidence. We saw that from game 1 to game 2, and I think that's going to continue to grow. I think her and Natalie, they're kind of sharing that workload, whereas last year Sam kind of ran that spot primarily. So I think that has been a great switch for us in having both of them, Natalie and Caitlyn, working together, and they're doing a great job working together. I think they both have some outstanding strengths in their play, and they're also complementing each other very well. So that's been really fun to see that develop, and we hope it will continue to do so. And I think that's a credit to the work the coaching staff has invested too, with Mike and particularly with Brooke, who is obviously an outstanding crease player herself. So she's been able to really help develop both Natalie and Caitlyn in that area of the field. And I know that for those players, that's helped them tremendously.
All right. That'll do it for us today on the Tiger Lacrosse Report. Towson takes on Loyola at Loyola Wednesday at 7 o'clock. If you can't make it over to the game, Brandon Sachs will have the call for you live on TowsonTigers.com starting at 6:45. Towson returns home on Saturday at noon to take on Coastal Carolina. I'll be in the booth alongside Sam Brookhart starting at 11:45. Coach, thanks for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thanks, Ben.
And thank you, fans, for joining us. And as always, for more news and notes on your favorite Towson Tiger team, keep it right here on TowsonTigers.com. For head coach Sonia LaMonica, I'm Ben Rosenbaum. Thanks for joining us, and as always, go Tigers.